If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sunny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it, and it's nothing.
Just
there.
go for it.
Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. Let's just not forget who she is. She's been for years lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she...
The morning the scandal broke felt like any other. Coffee in hand, scrolling through the news. But then a name stood out, Sunny Hostin. This time, it wasn't about her fiery takes on The View. No, the headlines were about her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Manning Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon, and his practice, Hostin Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. The accusations, insurance fraud, kickbacks, and ties to a massive RICO lawsuit involving a jaw-dropping 180 defendants. This isn't just a legal case, it's a blockbuster scandal. Stay around as we break down the drama, untangling the legal web and all the twists that come with it. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe. You won't want to miss a single update on this Hollywood-sized legal storm.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
The RICO Act, short for the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, was designed to dismantle organized crime, targeting mobsters, gangsters, and other shady figures. But here's the twist. This time, it's not the mafia under fire. It's doctors, surgeons, and medical practices. Think Grey's Anatomy meets Goodfellas, but with fraud. The lawsuit accuses Dr. Hostin and others of orchestrating a scheme to exploit the healthcare system. Allegedly, they pocketed kickbacks for unnecessary surgeries and billed insurance companies for procedures that may never have happened. Imagine patients going under the knife, insurers footing the bill, and money changing hands like a high-stakes poker game in the OR. It's a courtroom drama with a medical twist, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
Citizen that has a policy. I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners. He's got $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation? How about removing some of the podcasts that disseminate this misinformation?
They have.
And that's
Here's where it gets juicy. The lawsuit accuses Dr. Hostin of receiving financial incentives for recommending or performing arthroscopic surgeries, minimally invasive joint procedures. While these surgeries might seem legitimate, the allegations suggest some were entirely unnecessary. Were patients genuinely in need of knee or shoulder operations, or was someone chasing a payday? If true, this could be one of the most shocking betrayals, putting soap opera scandals to shame. Imagine trusting your doctor only to find out you were a pawn in a financial scheme. That's the kind of betrayal that cuts deep, both figuratively and literally.
Always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange of...
In a surprising twist, American Transit Insurance Company, ATIC, claims they've been defrauded out of millions, accusing the plaintiff, addict, of billing for unnecessary or non-existent surgeries. It's like paying for a steak, but getting tofu instead. However, insurance companies aren't exactly innocent either. They've faced accusations of underpaying doctors, denying claims, and exploiting loopholes to avoid paying out. The real question is whether Adam is genuinely trying to expose a massive healthcare scam, or if this is a last-ditch effort by a struggling company on the brink of bankruptcy, seeking to shift the blame elsewhere.
According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page 6, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft.
Daniel Thwaites, the defense lawyer for Dr. Host, didn't hold back in his courtroom remarks, blasting the lawsuit as a meritless move by an addict trying to recover losses. He called it a last-ditch effort from a company on the brink of financial collapse. Thwaites cleverly shifted the focus onto the addict, painting them as the true villains of the case. It's a classic courtroom tactic. When you're under fire, turn the tables on your accuser, and this strategy is certainly keeping the drama alive. But the plot thickens. Enter Joe Rogan. The podcast king and media critic didn't pull any punches, accusing the View of blatant hypocrisy. He reminded listeners how Sunny Hostin once slandered others while likely being aware of her husband's shady dealings. Rogan went full throttle, even taking shots at the show's intelligence, joking that if you averaged out the IQ of the hosts, you'd struggle to hit triple digits.
I saw you on The View.
Yeah. So that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a rabies infested henhouse.
It's harsh, but Joe Rogan's fans loved every minute of it. While Dr. Hostin fights to clear his name in court, his wife Sunny has been eerily silent. Normally outspoken on The View, Sunny has yet to address her husband's scandal. Why the quiet? Is she standing by him, distancing herself, or waiting for legal advice? Fans are speculating. Some think she's protecting her image, others believe she's staying silent to avoid becoming the next target. Regardless, her silence is speaking volumes. And here's the twist. This case isn't just about Dr. Hostin. He's one of 180 defendants named in the lawsuit, which includes other doctors, medical practices, and even hospitals. If the allegations prove true, this could be one of the largest medical fraud cases in recent history, an entire network exploiting healthcare loopholes for millions.
Her husband accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a lawsuit. Okay, now let's read this. Rob, is this a video?
Well, I have this. I'll show you this. About
Let me just read this and I'll come to you. So, Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney Daniel Thwaites denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread.
This situation feels like a heist movie, but instead of robbing banks, these criminals are stealing insurance premiums. At the core of it all is a bigger question. How much trust do we really have in the healthcare system when profit seems to outweigh patient care? When doctors and insurance companies prioritize money over people, trust begins to crumble. Patients should feel safe walking into a doctor's office, not like they're stepping into a financial trap. But let's not overlook the possibility that the addict behind this lawsuit could be using it as a smokescreen to mask their own financial struggles. If that's the case, they're only adding fuel to the fire. This whole situation is like a tangled web, and untangling it won't be easy. As of now, Dr. Hostin hasn't been found guilty. These are just allegations, but the court battle is gearing up to be a spectacle. Both sides are preparing to throw everything they have at each other. For now, all we can do is sit back, watch, and try to separate fact from fiction. Whether Dr. Hostin is guilty or innocent, this case is already exposing some uncomfortable truths about the healthcare and insurance industries. So buckle up, this scandal is far from over. With every twist, we'll be right here, popcorn in hand, watching it all unfold like the courtroom drama it's destined to be. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a beat. Catch you in the next one. Peace.